All right, we are on in three, two, and one.
I could while away the hours, conferring with the flowers, consulting with the rain. In my head, I'd be scratching while my thoughts are busy hatching, if I only had a brain.
It's Nerdery Murdy, the musical. Welcome to episode 176 of Nerdery Murdery.
Big 176, I'm Zig with your nerdery.
And I'm Geoffrey with your Murdery. Welcome to another week of the highs and lows, the ups and downs, the good and the bad, and the nerd and the murd. We have guests in the house again from Two Geeks and Microphone. We have Megan, who is their Tito on their show. She keeps them moving along and watches their chats and everything like that, helps them out as they're going along. And we have Brenda, Michael Shank's wife from Two Geeks and a Microphone. Brenda has joined us before, so welcome both of y'all to the show.
Thank you.
Hello.
So we had started talking about doing a musical episode, and it's going to end up being a two-parter. You'll actually get this one in 176, and then you'll have to pause a week. Then you'll get 178, where we'll pick up the second piece of this. But as we had been talking about this, Mike had zero interest in, and I knew this. I knew this from listening to his show. He has zero interest in musicals.
He
Um,
had a list.
oh, I know. Which tells me he probably has no interest in Joker Boy I Do or whatever it is.
No, he does not.
Which is getting bad reviews,
Yeah.
terrible
So I have heard.
reviews. Um, but yeah, Mike didn't have any interest in joining this. Mike and I usually watch the Cowboys game together, but we'll be going into that probably, and so I'll miss some of it. This is Christmas week, by the way. When this episode comes out, it will be the week of Christmas. So Merry Christmas to all the
Merry
nerds and merds
Christmas.
out there.
Merry Christmas.
And happy Hanukkah. First night of Hanukkah is on Christmas Day.
Well, there you go.
Wow.
I want to give a special shout out to one of our newer listeners, Brian. He had sent me some messages over email, and he had a great recommendation for an episode. Um, I think though, as the more I look through it, I'm going to throw that one over to Zig, and I'll talk to you offline on this. This one is right up your alley, and a good one to
Brian, is
cover.
this Brian K?
Without going into my email, I couldn't tell you for sure. I'll look here
I
in a
think this is
minute.
I think this is Steph's kid brother, who I used to hang out with,
Um,
because he said he wanted to start following us like 2 weeks ago when I talked to him.
so if you'll give me just a minute, I'll get through here.
I don't want to give his full name.
Yes, it is Brian K. Yes,
Okay. Yeah, yeah.
there you go. Great. Well, he's a new listener, and he had a great idea from one Zig. It's going to be right up your alley for the wife swap. So Brian, we're going to save that one, and I will turn that over to Zig when he takes over on the murdery side of the house.
Episode
Uh,
200. I think
yeah,
it's the
it'll be
next one.
episode 200, so it'll be a good one. It'll be a good one. So I'll give that to you
Sweet.
later.
Well, thank you, sir.
I've got several things before we can kick off here.
That's okay.
If I can ever get you down here, there's a pizza place called Stefano's. And a couple weeks ago, I guess it was, I had their lasagna stuffed pizza. And oh
Oh,
my God, was that good. I was only able to have a couple pieces. It was massive. It was huge. And it was really, really, really good. That's about as close to Priazzo as we could get with that.
oh, nice.
It was
Nice.
pretty good. Um,
Stuff. Good stuff in South Texas, which is weird.
yeah, yeah. Well, and we just spent the morning down in Mexico, and oh, it's so cheap over there. Um, I got a haircut and a shave and a straight razor shave this morning. Shave. Chelsea got a pedicure, and for all three things, I spent $30.
30
Oh,
bucks.
wow.
Yeah. And then we stopped for tacos. We each got street tacos, and we got a plate of five little mini tacos. And
Uh-huh.
for the two of us, it was $16.
Yeah,
Wow.
probably homemade tortillas too. Probably
It
made them
was.
right there.
They
Yeah.
were. It was outstanding. It was such
With
good food.
white corn.
No. No, I think it was yellow corn.
Okay.
Pretty sure it was yellow corn. But yeah, it was really cool. We just popped over there for the morning. Went to go get some medicine for the dogs because you can get that real cheap down there. I should have brought it up with me. I got me a new Big Daddy up in his house hat.
Nice.
Uh,
Is that another ladies hat?
yes, it's one of those. It's a kind of Panama Jack style hat, but I had to get it. It was $7.
To our guests and our listeners, what a ladies hat is, you put it on, you look over, you go, ladies.
Then yesterday we spent all day watching the K Paso tournament down here. That was a lot of fun. I was really surprised. I'd never attended a golf tournament in person. And this was the K Paso, and I mean, yesterday was the finals of the fourth day. These guys have been playing for 4 days. And it was intense. It was fun. We had golf carts lined all around the green for all the last holes, and it was really, really cool. And then we crashed the players' party and got free drinks and food the rest of the
Nice.
Ain't nothing wrong with that.
Well, we walked in, and one of the waitresses goes, "Oh, here, you need one of these armbands." Okay.
Do I?
Right.
So
Nice.
the last thing I had before I'll let you take it over. So we've reported this here before. I let Mike do his own advertisement for it. When this episode releases, Michael Shank's book, The Immortality Code, is out. There we go. For those of you watching, there's a copy of the book right there.
Whoop,
Uh,
whoop.
as of today, it will be out in 2 days that you can purchase it, a hard copy, but I think it's out on Amazon today. I
Audio.
think. Yeah,
Audio.
Digital.
Digital,
The
yeah.
digital copy, I think, is released today. So go out and buy it. I'm buying a hard copy. I've already read it, but I'm buying a hard copy. Going to support Mike on that. And Mike has inspired me. And I have a book idea that has been in my head for at least 15 years. I've started and stopped this thing so many times. I have spiral notebooks that I've written in and stopped. Mike inspired me, and so I've dug down, and I am now 15 chapters into my book, and I'll give more.
15?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. I'm
I'll,
only up to 12 so far.
I'll give more details later.
I've been throwing him ideas like joke grenades, like, oh,
Well,
just put this in.
and I hope I finish it. I hope I finish it this time. I'll throw it out there. I'm using AI to help with it. I give the AI the scenes, the ideas, most of the dialogue, and it helps me flesh it out. It helps me move the story along. It doesn't ever give me ideas, which is really cool. I've got to give it all the ideas, and I've got to tell it what I'm seeing, and it's helping me along.
It's
So
like
that's,
advanced spell check.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, on steroids, on
Yeah.
steroids, and it's really cool because as I've gone along, it has learned the nuances of the characters, the way they speak, and the things they do, and so it's bringing that into the story very well and helping keep it going. So I mean, it's really cool. Like I said, if I actually finish it this time, I'll tell everybody about it. Hopefully, I do. Maybe Zig can keep prodding me along with this, but we'll see.
I have faith in you.
I appreciate it. I appreciate it.
You got this.
Mhm.
All right, Zig, you got anything, or you want to kick us off into the nerdery side of the house?
I kind of want to talk about musicals today.
Oh, hold on. I
Okay,
think Brenda's got something.
I just,
good.
yeah. So if this is coming out at Christmas time,
Mhm.
I just want to say, because Michael's birthday is December 27th.
Oh, that's
So I
right.
just want to say happy birthday, Michael.
There we go.
Happy birthday, Michael!
This comes out a few days before that, but yes. So when he listens to it, maybe he'll hear it on his birthday.
There you go.
Happy birthday, Mike.
Mine's December 4th.
Yes.
That's right. I forget that
Happy
both of y'all
belated
are
birthday.
December.
Well,
Happy
it's-
belated birthday when the show comes out.
yeah.
All right, Zig, it's your show.
Okay, I'm going to start this by saying that I spent quite a bit of my misspent youth in a musical theater summer stock program between the ages of 15 and 20 in the summers doing this. So I'll see every one of these that I named, I've actually seen live.
Well,
a
and
lot of
let me put a fine point on it. This isn't one of those lists that we're doing the top 20 musicals of all time. These are our personal favorites.
yeah. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, I mean, between college productions and even some high school productions I've seen that are bang out outstanding. A lot of the stuff that we've listed in this in these lists are
Mhm.
incredible pieces, and you guys should get out and see them. I have scenes in the YouTube playlist as well as the entire musical for each one of the things that we're talking about. Some of them are college productions, some of them are community theater productions, some of them are national touring shows, things of that nature.
Yeah, I saw that in the playlist.
Yeah. So you guys really ought to get out there and look at those playlists. But we're going to talk about musicals, and it's our top 5 favorites.
God, that was
Um,
hard to pick top 5.
yeah. Yeah.
It was.
That
It
was
was.
basically the criteria. Your 5 favorites.
And
And
well,
that's
and the
that's
funny
what we
thing
went
about
with.
musicals, you've got people out there that say they don't like musicals, and I don't know that they've ever experienced it.
Exactly.
They can be some very incredible things. They can be some pieces of shit.
They can.
I'm going to throw it out there. Cats is an incredible piece of shit. I
Yeah.
hated Cats, but
I
there's a
I
lot of
don't
people that
like
love it.
I don't like anything Andrew Lloyd Webber does. I really
Um,
don't.
I would agree with one exception, and it's in our list.
Are you saying that because you're a Maxwell Sheffield fan?
We got a really bad echo.
Then what? I'm sorry.
I gotta let me try muting myself. Don't let me. Can you still hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, because
Better.
that's the soundboard.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
I didn't know if it would do that in Zoom as well.
Yeah.
Um,
You sound great now.
I said your hatred for Andrew Lloyd Webber, is that because you're such a big Maxwell Sheffield fan?
You
Maybe.
don't get it.
Maybe.
Did you ever watch The Nanny? With
The
Cran?
the sitcom.
I know.
Yeah.
I've seen an episode here and there.
That's why you don't get
That's
it.
why you don't get it. Maxwell
Um,
Sheffield was a producer,
Yeah, he was
and
a producer.
his what do you call it?
Kind-
Alien or enemy was
Andrew Lloyd Webber.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
funny.
Yeah.
Because he was always
They
griping.
they wrote that from real life. There's a lot of people that feel that way about him. Matter of fact, his Phantom of the Opera, he straight up stole from somebody else.
Oh, wow.
I have notes. When we get to that, I have notes. Yeah, a lot of people do not like that dude in the industry. Also, because I spent my misfit youth there, I'm a bit of a snob about musicals. Not as much as some of the friends I grew
Hey,
up with.
for those of you on video, there's Michael Shanks, who's not joined the show, but he's popping in to say hi.
What's up, dude?
Like says hi.
Here we go.
Oh, that's the Cowboys.
Yes, that is a Cowboys thing.
Yeah.
I hope Jeff knows.
Well, I
that.
know Jeff knows it, but Zig, he doesn't do sports.
I do not. That's the football where they score the home runs, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Hey,
Exactly.
go sports!
With a puck.
Yes. God, that looks dangerous. So we're gonna talk about our top 5, and I basically put everybody's top 5 list down, and then I drew names in a hat. So there'll be two for one episode, 2 for the other, one from each show. So the first side we have Geoffrey and Brenda.
Cool.
So let's start. Since Brenda's the guest, let's start with Brenda.
All right.
Brenda's first musical, come here, is Seven Brides for Seven Brothers.
I love that. I was just watching it.
Howard Keel is
Yeah.
outstanding.
Yes.
I mean, again, I'll go through some notes about the production of it and whatnot. It's a musical with a book by Lawrence Kasha and David Landry, music by Gene DePaul, Al Kasha, and Joel Hirschhorn, and lyrics by Johnny Mercer, Al Kasha, and Joel Hirschhorn. It is based on a 1954 Stanley Donen film of the same name, which is itself an adaptation of the short story The Sobbing Women by Stephen Vincent Bennett, based on an ancient Roman legend of the rape of the Sabine women. The show's 1978 to 1979 premiere tour was canceled without reaching Broadway. After touring for 18 months from 1981, subsequent production opened on Broadway in July of 1982 to close 3 days and 5 performances after its official opening. In 1985, a West End production had a 6-week limited engagement run with a further 5.5 weeks West End run at the Prince of Wales Theatre. Revised versions of the musical have met with success in the U.S. regional theaters and amateur productions on both sides of the Atlantic. So the stage musical version of Seven Brides for Seven Brothers, which I'm going to talk about, it's basically originally it was a film musical, and they decided in the 70s to make it a stage version. Stage musical version of Seven Brides for Seven Brothers was first performed in June of 1978 at the Dallas Summer Musical Season with Howard Keel and Jane Powell reprising their lead roles. The production with Keel and Powell still attached, the proceeds of which was touted as a pre-Broadway tour playing limited engagements in St. Louis, Kansas City, Toronto, and Atlanta. An engagement at the Pantages Theater in Los Angeles was announced for November of 1978, but instead the production went on hiatus until January 79. Her revived, then to play 3 Florida venues with the tour's end. So this thing did not do very well when it first came out as a stage musical, even though the film was very, very popular. But the film was also, in 78, it was 54 years old at that time. And going in the 70s, a lot of people kind of looked their nose down at those old musicals. At that point, we were all in the Bob Fosse modern dance era, which is, asymmetrical dance moves,
So you had said 54 years. When was the film done?
I'm sorry, 24 years.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Hey, wait a minute.
it's based on a
Thank you.
1954 Stanley Donen film.
Yes, because
54.
That would
I
have
was
been
going to
more
say
like Bill Abner.
the film is the only one I've seen, and I mean it's in as far as, for lack of a better word, filming technology, it looks like the same type of film that was used for The Wizard of Oz.
Yeah. It's why quite a few years later. It's actually 54. 1954, it was 24 years afterwards that they made the stage musical.
Gotcha.
But again, I've seen Seven Brides for Seven Brothers live. I think it was a college production.
Mom,
What?
have we seen?
No, they've not had it over at Muni.
It's okay. It's an old-fashioned corn gold musical, a la the 1950s, which is what everybody was doing back then.
Special point, Julie Newmar was in that. She played
I'm sorry?
Julie Newmar,
Mhm.
woman.
Oh God, I love Julie Newmar.
She was in that movie. She
I have
played-
to pause for 1 minute. I'm so sorry. I had a dog just throw up on the bed.
Oh,
Okay, sorry, we're back. I didn't mean to keep that live when I said that, but yes, we I said we got pet meds down in Mexico. I think one of our dogs just got a little sick from the heartworm medicine.
Nice.
So, all right, I'm so sorry. Please continue.
So yeah, Julie Newmar. I love Julie Newmar.
yes. She played Dorcas in that movie. I know. That's a Bible name. I didn't name her.
Dorcas.
I forgot about that. I haven't seen that in so long.
Seven Brides for Seven Brothers. It is in the playlist. I think there's a live version of it. Yeah, high school or college musical. It's pretty good. Again, it's the things that they did, back in the day that it may not be my favorite, but it's definitely in the conversation.
Mom and I's lists are pretty interchangeable,
Right. We could swap lists and say, yeah, I agree that
for the most part.
for the most part.
We
I'm gonna
like
get
a
some-
lot of the same style musicals.
I'm gonna get some hate mail for one of yours, kid.
I know. I will.
But no, it's Seven Brides for Seven Brothers. That's one of the things. If you want to see what an old-fashioned corn gold Hollywood Golden Age musical looks like, that's it.
If you want
It's
to go
fun, though.
even older, you could go Lil Abner.
Little Abner, yes.
I love Lil Abner too.
A musical that was based on a comic strip from the
Yes.
20s, I think.
Something like that. Yeah, a long time ago.
Yeah, a corn poem meeting.
Uh-huh. Mary.
Yeah, very old South,
Yes.
very Appalachian.
And the quality of the movie is it's bad.
Oh yeah, it's in Technicolor. It's
Yeah.
bright and vibrant. It's amazing.
Well, and that's where I was saying it was very Wizard of Oz-ish, and it's very vivid colors.
Yeah, it's a Technicolor. You can't
Mhm.
you can't get that with modern. Well, I mean, you can get that with modern film, but like for a long time, unless you were shooting with the Technicolor, which was prohibitively expensive, you couldn't get that saturated color look. So it was amazing.
And I love the dance scenes. I'm sorry, they were fabulous.
Oh yeah, the big barn dance where everybody's oh my,
Mhm.
with the twirling skirts and the
I think
big broad
that's the singular clip you've got on the playlist is that.
Oh, the
Yeah.
barn dance? Yeah.
I think so.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
And beautiful and everything else. And Howard Keel,
Yes.
oh my God. Howard Keel is just I mean, what can you say about Howard Keel?
He later was on Dallas.
Yes. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
He played
was
Miss Ellie's husband.
Yeah. The one she
Jock?
married after Jock died.
Oh, after Jock. I was going to say she played Jock Ewing. Interesting.
No, that he was the old stuntman.
Gotcha.
He was actually from the area too. Jock
Gotcha.
was. He's a homeboy. I can't remember the actor's name. Did a lot of John Wayne movies. Gets beat up a lot by John Wayne. The next movie in our list
Musical.
Yes, in our list.
You said movie.
The next musical in our list, I'm so sorry. I see what you're saying. I see what I did there.
Yes.
Is
moms are movies.
Mamma Mia.
I love that too.
It was promoted as Benny Anderson and Bjorn Ulvaeus's Mamma Mia. Benny Anderson and Bjorn Ulvaeus will have another musical come up in this list. It's a jukebox musical written by British playwright Catherine Johnson. Is based on songs recorded by Swedish group ABBA and composed by the members Benny Anderson and Bjorn Ulvaeus. The musical's title is taken from the group's 1975 chart topper, Mamma Mia. Ulvaeus and Anderson were involved in the development of the show from the beginning, while singer Annie Frid Lyngstad was involved financially in the production and also appeared as many of the premieres around the world. The musical includes such hits as Super Trooper, Lay All Your Love on Me, Dancing Queen, Knowing Me, Knowing You, Take a Chance on Me, Thank You for the Music, Money, 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 The Winner Takes It All, Voulez-Vous, SOS, and Mamma Mia. Over 65 million people have seen the live stage show, which has grossed $4 billion worldwide since its 1999 debut. A film adaptation starring Meryl Streep, Colin Firth, Pierce Brosnan, Amanda Seyfried, Christine Baranski, Stellan Skarsgård, and Julie Walters was released in 2008. 10 years later, Ol Parker wrote and directed the prequel, Mamma Mia, Here We Go Again, which shares Donna's life in 1979. Mm-hmm. As of 2020, the show has productions in London's West End, where it's the sixth longest running show in West End history, as well as various foreign productions. Its Broadway incarnation closed on the 12th of September 2015 after running for nearly 14 years, making it the ninth longest running Broadway show in history. As for the West End, nothing will ever beat Mousetrap. Nothing will ever run that long. So let's talk about Mamma Mia. It's a jukebox musical. Again, these are not necessarily my favorite. I think they're cool, and I think it's awesome that they're bringing people into live theater, which I think is their idea. Hey, let's get people back into let's get asses into seats and see this stuff. So maybe if they see this, they'll go see Into the Woods next time. I get it.
This is one of my mother's favorites. She loves Mamma Mia. Chelsea loves the music from it. I mean, we've got and I like some Mamma music. This isn't my favorites of theirs. Gimme, 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 I think is my favorite of theirs. I just like the sound in that one. But this is a fun one. It's a feel good, and it's a fun one.
Yeah.
I don't know that I've ever seen the theatrical release that came out.
Oh, I saw the movie. I don't think I've seen this live because I'm not a huge fan of ABBA.
We've seen the Munis, our local theater.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. Well, outside theater.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh yeah, you would
cool.
want to do this in either an outside venue or a big house.
Mm-hmm.
I think we've actually seen it
Twice, I think so.
Because we saw it when I was younger, and then we saw it like within the last 5-ish years, I think. 5 or 6.
Yeah.
There's a lot of munis around Fort Worth and Dallas. One of the outdoor theaters is Shakespeare in the Park that happens in Trinity Park every year. Is that still going on? Do they still do Shakespeare in the Park?
No, they're not doing Shakespeare in the Park at Trinity Park anymore. They are doing it at Dallas. They combined with Shakespeare Dallas, so they're doing it at Dallas now. I think it's actually in Irving.
They do Shakespeare in the Park in St. Louis. I think. I'm not sure.
Do they?
I don't know. It's kind of one of the cool things about Dallas and Fort Worth that we really don't get down here. There's two really good venues to get musicals. One is Bass Hall in downtown Fort Worth, which is it's a phenomenal venue. It's designed to be a lot like the Globe Theater, Shakespeare's Globe Theater. And then Fair Park in Dallas is where they do the Dallas summer musicals, and
with the big outdoor shows.
They have some outdoor shows. Most of them are indoors. The one is in Fair Park, the musicals I'm talking about.
Oh,
because,
Fair Park, yeah.
Yeah, because I could be way, way wrong and I'd have to look it up, but I think for like $200 you can get a season pass and you'll get like 6 musicals.
Mm-hmm.
And they have some really good shows that come through.
And it's good summer stock stuff too. I mean, so you'll get old favorites and new stuff. And
Right.
the way summer stock works is they hire a group or cast, and they rehearse one musical while they're performing one at night. They rehearse one musical, the next musical while they're so there's only like a 1 to 2 day tear down and bring up. So they're just musical.
Is Casa Manana still operating?
Yeah.
Okay.
Most of the summer musicals they do now are like what I was involved in, the Apprentice program. But the kids actually put the show on as opposed to just being apprentice stage managers and PAs and costuming assistants and stuff like that. They're and sound technician assistants. They're in the show. They do the publicity. They do the whole thing. So they'll do like 1 or 2 in the summer. And they still do regular musicals, but it's not summer stock anymore, which is sad because summer stock, it was the bread and butter of that particular venue for 50 years. And because back then it was in the round, it's not in the round anymore. Back then it was in the round, they had to get a whole bunch of apprentices, children, slave labor to come in. And so it's theater in the round. So your set pieces have to come from outside of the stage area. You can't go from behind the stage. So the scene would be over, lights would go down, they'd play the music, and these little people in black, they used to call us crazy ninjas, in soft tennis shoes, would run out, drop a piece of scenery, pick a piece of scenery up, and run off in 30 seconds.
Wow.
Which is why I'm really great at moving, because I can do that. I can run backwards really fast because I learned how. Because there is a step. If you do not take the step, you can fall off and hurt yourself. Falling off and hurting myself. My knees don't work right because I made a wrong move once. But yeah, so summer stock is bam, bam, and it's all musicals. You've got a full band, and everybody stays employed the whole summer. They'll bring in stars for each show, but usually it's 1 or 2 people. Everybody else was there the whole time. So it's how a lot of people got their start in the industry is through summer stock, because you had to sing, you had to dance, you had to act. Sometimes you had to be a prop master. Sometimes you had to carry a piece of scenery with you. And you had to think quick on your feet because, yes, you had a week and a half to learn this. Hopefully you had read it beforehand. You don't flub your lines. You just go. We don't have time for you to mess with all of that. I have some interesting stories when we get to a particular episode. or a particular
Musical.
show, musical. Yeah, because
Well, they are shows.
yeah,
Sure.
yeah, we're putting on a show, baby. Let's keep going. But I can't tell you how many times I've heard that from a man, God, who was like a father figure to me. Um, also, also taught me how to drink Jack Daniels properly. But he didn't have any children, so he had us. As a matter of fact, the Casa Manana building that exists, his ashes are buried behind it.
Wow.
His brother was Richard Lassiter. His brother worked for the Rangers, so he was like a I don't want to say greenskeeper because he was like head of something. Anyway, he planted this grass over them, over his ashes, and they spell that as initials. So you'll
Oh,
see
that's
a
cool.
different color of grass that says REL, Richard Earl Lassiter, behind the theater, and they've got a little fence around it and everything.
And just FYI for our listeners who are not solely in Dallas-Fort Worth, that's the Texas Rangers, the baseball team.
Yes, the Texas Rangers. I'm
Yes.
so sorry,
Yes,
not the New York Rangers.
correct.
Because they don't have grass and a hockey rink. I assume they would figure that out. See, I know stuff.
I'm a hockey fan, so I get it.
So yeah, what do we think about Mamma Mia?
I love
I
it.
love it. That's another one that could be interchanged between either one of us.
Right on, right on.
It's one for me that was good the first time through. It was fun to watch, and like I said, it's a feel good movie, but that was a one and done for me. I saw it, I've seen it, I
You
enjoyed
seen
it.
it?
Don't
Yeah,
need to see it again.
yeah,
I could watch
yeah.
it all
You
the
know,
time.
I'm not a huge ABBA fan, so the music doesn't really do it. I thought the film was nice. I liked the staging of it. I thought it was really interesting. But I do like the idea that it's the story of the Sabine women, and there's like the Stygian witches are involved and stuff like that. It's very Greek tragedy linked. It's fascinating. And I like the way they kind of interwove all that stuff in there and played, disco. Who does that? It's kind
I
of
just thought
crazy.
it's funny. It's like, which of the three is her dad?
Yeah,
You know, it's like
We still
oh,
don't know, do we?
no.
I don't
Mm,
think you're supposed to.
Well,
no.
Yeah, I don't hear.
right.
Yeah, I don't think you're supposed to.
Mm-mm.
I think it's just you're supposed to, figure it
She
out, or
walked out of
maybe
it with
all
three
of them
dads.
are.
Right.
Yeah, that's how she walked out of it with three dads.
Yeah, that's how that's what it's about. It's they're all, because it may not it's not necessarily about blood at that point,
Mhm.
Right.
which I think is a ringing message to have at the end of that thing.
Yes.
It's a
Kind
nice
of beautiful.
semi found family
Yeah.
esque.
And they stepped up.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Because they
Because-
all realized that they wanted it to be them too.
Yep. Don't want to know.
Right. It didn't matter.
Nope.
That's the beauty of it. That's what I love.
Mhm.
The next musical in the list is Guys and Dolls. It is a musical with music and lyrics by Frank Loescher and book by Joe Swerling and Abe Burrows. It's based on the Idol of Miss Sarah Brown and Blood Pressure, which are two short stories by Damon Runyon, and also borrows characters and plot elements from other Runyon stories, such as Pick the Winner. The show premiered on Broadway on November 24th, 1950, where it ran for 1,200 performances and won the Tony Award for Best Musical. The musical has had several Broadway and London revivals, as well as a 1955 film adaptation starring Frank Sinatra, Marlon Brando, Gene Simmons, and Vivian Blaine, who reprises her role of Adelaide for the Broadway show. It's considered one of the greatest Broadway musicals of all time. Vivian Blaine, Sam Levine, Robert Alda, and Isabel Bigley, along with the original Broadway cast of the 1950 Decca Cast album, were inducted into the Grammy Hall of Fame. The show had its pre-Broadway tryouts at the Shubert Theater in Philadelphia, opening Saturday, October 14th, 1950. Interesting story. A celebrity once told me that the Shubert Theater is the coldest place in the world backstage. It'd be 100 degrees outside, and it's 50 degrees in the back of the Schubert Theater. And that was nice because he sweated a lot.
Well, if you're run back of house of a show, yeah.
Yeah. But the Greaves are like the coldest screen room I've ever had. Schubert Theater, Philadelphia. That was Jamie Farr.
Well,
Yeah.
From MASH.
Yes.
Huh.
And other things.
Guys and Dolls, when I was in high school, was the first, other than, I mean, because I grew up with Wizard of Oz. That was but Guys and Dolls was the first musical that I ever seen on stage. So that was, and I mean,
A high school production of it?
Yes, I fell in love. And to this day, even when I'm watching the movie, or I can still see the people that I watched in high school in those roles. Because it's like, oh my gosh. And the funny thing is the guy who played Sky and the girl who played Sarah hated each other in high school. I mean, loathed.
I bet that chemistry kind of helped.
Oh my gosh, it was, but they were, it was like sparks. I was just like, dang. Yes.
Yeah. Sometimes when people hate each other, there's a chemistry going on that you just can't match.
Oh my gosh. But yeah, that is so. I mean, ever since I saw that, and I helped with lights, and oh my gosh, just incredible. That was one of my, that's why this is always and will always be on my list of top 5.
Yeah. Well, Guys and Dolls is an incredible musical. And like I said, they inducted the 98 revival as well as the 1950 cast are all Grammy winners because it's such an incredible musical, especially about, gangland New York.
Yeah.
Who does that? Again, who does that?
Right.
Nobody does that. Well, they did it in 1950 and it was freaking awesome.
My daughter doesn't like it.
Yeah. Yeah, what do we think about Guys and Dolls?
It's very long.
Yeah, I'm with Megan on that. It's long.
I laughed or cried. It was longer than Cats.
This is another one that's a one and done for me.
No.
And it's more dialogue than it is song.
Yes, it's very dialogue heavy.
I couldn't.
Hey, if you want all song, go see the opera. That's why they call it that.
That's right.
Oh, but I like a good balance.
You want a little more song?
Yeah.
That's one of my problems with a lot of musicals. It's like dialogue, and they break out into the song. The song, they're just breaking out into the song because it's a musical and that's what they're supposed to do.
Right.
Wrong. There needs to be a reason for it.
Right.
Or at least plausible.
But see, I see reasons in these.
Yeah. A plausible step to get there.
I think the beginning they did well with the songs.
Yeah.
It was a good mix between the song and the dialogue. But then you just lose it after a few songs.
Well, to me, in a good musical as well, the music furthers along the point, isn't just slotted in there just to be a musical. The music, the song should further the story.
That's why I don't care for jukebox musicals. Mamma Mia kind of being the exception. I think that stuff was slotted in, but they also got with the guys that wrote it. And again, I'm not necessarily against them because it gets asses in seats, and that's what theater needs. And honestly, I think Broadway needs to lower its prices. I think they're pricing themselves out of. I think they're pricing themselves out of an audience.
But you get the people that go to New York and they can afford it, and then they, for the most part, I mean, it's not always the case, but they get a good traveling cast that goes around the country.
You get a road show, and generally those road shows are generally better than the Broadway production.
Sometimes.
Yeah. Just because the Broadway production is static, those road shows, it's like the summer stock idea. The reason those summer stock shows are so good is because set up, tear down, set up, tear down, set up, tear down, go, 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 go. Come on. You ain't got time to forget your lines. We got a show, kid. So yeah, the touring shows they're on their feet and they're moving. And I like that because that's what it's supposed to be. At least from my experience. And I realize not everybody's experience is that experience, but it hones that craft. It it keeps it pointed and sharp. Nobody toward the end of a run, once you really know it, you start jacking with people. And you jack with people through the whole show, but nobody outside the cast or the crew notices.
Mhm.
That's how you know you're good. You know? I can remember handing someone an umbrella with the words "Love Me" written on my eyelids so I could go. And I got a poke in the gut. She's like, "Nope, not this time, buddy." And then went on with her song. That was awesome. It was a little night music. It's a great musical if you've never seen it. The next one we're going to talk about is The Wizard of Oz. The Wizard of Oz is a 1939 American music fantasy film produced by Metro-Goldwyn-Mayer and an adaptation of L. Frank Baum's 1900 children's fantasy novel, The Wonderful Wizard of Oz. It was primarily directed by Victor Fleming, who left production to take over the trouble Gone with the Wind. It stars Judy Garland, Frank Morgan, Ray Bolger, Burt Lahr, Jack Haley, Billy Burke, and Margaret Hamilton. Noel Langley, Florence Ryerson, and Edgar Allan Wolfe received credit for the screenplay, while others made up uncredited contributions. The music was composed by Harold Arlen and an adaptation by Herbert Stothar with lyrics by Edgar Yip Harburg. As we said before, it was celebrated for its use of Technicolor. It got a Best Picture and Best Original Song for Somewhere Over the Rainbow.
Which they wanted to cut.
Yeah. The 1956 television broadcast premiere of the film on CBS reintroduced the film to the public, according to the U.S. Library of Congress, as the most seen film in movie history. In 1989, it was selected by the Library of Congress as one of the first 25 films for preservation in the United States National Film Registry for being culturally, historically, or aesthetically significant. It's also one of the few films on UNESCO's Memory of the World's Register. So we talked about the film itself. There have been very, 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 very many children theater adaptations, and it is a direct adaptation musically of the film.
Mm-hmm.
So when you see the musical live,
Right.
those are the songs you're going to get.
And by the way, let me just give a side note on this. If you have not seen it, watch the movie. Is it called? Is it Zig? Help me. Is it Over the Rainbow with Chevy Chase?
Oh yeah,
yeah.
Somewhere Under the Rainbow.
Under the Rainbow. Under the Rainbow. So it's Chevy Chase as a detective, and is it Carrie Fisher? Is she the other one that's in it?
I think so.
But Under the Rainbow is funny. It's a murder mystery, done behind the scenes of Wizard of Oz.
Yes.
I'll have to check that
And
out.
it's very funny. It's very, very, very funny.
Yeah, and it's basically it's interviewing the people that were cast for the Munchkins, because they hired every working little person in theater in Hollywood because they needed to fill that set.
Right.
Yeah,
So
1981.
they got everybody.
1981 film, Chevy Chase and Carrie Fisher.
Yep.
I'll have to look that
Under
up.
the Rainbow. It's very it's really good.
Under the Rainbow, because everybody's
Yes.
4 feet tall.
Yes, Carrie Fisher, if I recall, it's been a long time since I've seen this movie. Carrie Fisher is the basically the production's assistant who is in charge of taking care of all the Munchkins.
Yeah. And these people are all vaudevillians. So if you know anything about vaudevillians and like the Yiddishkeit
Do you know what vaudeville is, Megan?
humor.
Heard it. I don't know.
That's okay. I got a musical
I
that's a
can tell you the
vaudeville review.
definition.
Yeah, I've got a musical in my list that's a vaudeville review.
Well,
dirty jokes. There's a little bit of, I don't want to say strip tease because it's burlesque. Yeah, because everybody's fully clothed. They just look like they aren't.
Your picture show?
Yeah, no. They're actually wearing costumes that come all the way up to the neck, all the way to the wrist, all the way to the ankles, but they look sheer.
Yes.
They're not. They're actually more clothes than most of the people on there because
Right.
yeah.
But I didn't mean to derail with that. But I mean, Wizard of Oz is an all-time great. It really, really is. Um, I don't know of very many people our age or within 20 years of our range that have not seen this at one time or another. It
Well,
played every
they
year
showed
on
it.
TV.
Yeah, they showed it every year on
Yes.
CBS for
Yes.
like 30, 40 years.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
And it's a lot of fun. It still holds up is the thing about Wizard of Oz. It's a great story and it's fun to see time. This is one in opposition of some of the others. I can see Wizard of Oz time and time and time and time and time again and
yeah.
enjoy it every single time.
Mm-hmm.
Judy Garland is an amazing singer.
Mhm.
And I'm really glad Shirley Temple didn't take the part because she couldn't get out.
No, she wasn't right for it.
No.
No, she wasn't.
Funny story is when Meagan was, oh gosh, she was little. We were in Girl Scouts and we were traveling to where did we go? Chicago.
I was going to say, we never went to
We were gonna
Wisconsin.
But we were going to Chicago, and I was driving and I had 6 girls in the vehicle, and they were all talking, and they said something about the Wizard of Oz, and I said, oh, that's one of my favorite movies, and they had the audacity to question my knowledge on this movie, and I said, okay, so I says, here it is. The scene starts, and I'm and I started like the first 5 seconds of it. And they're like, okay, we give you got it.
She can recite the movie.
Not 100%, but yes, I can tell you a lot.
It's a great piece, and as I was saying before we started the show, most of the music is old-fashioned Hollywood musical, Broadway ups and downs in the music, and it's not too stressful. It's not too difficult to sing. It's not but saying that it's not too difficult to sing doesn't mean that they're necessarily bad singers.
no.
It actually makes good singers shine even more when they're not having to fight going up and down on stuff.
Right.
So it's a nice, easy, leisurely pace, good scoring. Again, the Technicolor is amazing. And the children's theater productions of it are usually incredible. No, the effects aren't as great, but they don't need to be because it's a willing suspension of disbelief.
Right.
Yes, the Cowardly Lion does not look as good as Burt Lahr did, but he doesn't have to.
No.
And I will say,
live.
Oh, I'm sorry.
We did see this one live at the Muni.
It's great. Aren't those live productions of that?
That's phenomenal. That's the one that we bought the season tickets for.
Right.
Wow.
It was there.
We bought season tickets for one show.
No, there happened to be shows that each one of us wanted to see.
Oh, okay.
That was the one Spamalot was there that year.
Oh, nice.
Music okay, we're going.
I love Spamalot.
Man.
I think Fiddler was also
Fiddler, and I don't remember the
first. If I were a rich man, a very, very rich man, yabba dabba dabba dee, yabba dabba dabba.
Again, that would have been on our list too, but we were only allowed 5.
Yes. Yes. Yeah. Well, let's not sing sad songs about the shtetl, shall we not?
Right.
There's only one on my list that I can say for sure has a definite spot.
That's the next category or next show. Though.
But I'm just saying, I can't pick favorite.
Save it for the episode.
Dang, Meagan just got told to shut up. Jeez. Wow.
Damn, girl.
I'm her mama.
I was just
that's true.
On the fact that both Mom and I can't pick.
No, it's hard.
It's hard to, that's one of the reasons. It's like, I can't pick 5. Dude, I went through like 20. I was like, in the text, I was like, shit, I'm gonna have to condense this.
When you said 5, I was like, ooh.
I put criteria on myself.
There's other ones that I still want to mention.
Third show.
Dude, we did an episode on David Mamet. I'm like, there's like 20 in there. I picked one David Mamet show. Because I saw a high school production of it that is probably the best live production of that I have ever seen, and I've seen it like 3 times. Again, that's next episode. Sorry. Okay, The next show.
Wait. Oh, I always wanted to say Wizard of Oz, the original Tin Man was actually Buddy Ebsen,
Correct.
Yes.
Yep.
who was from
Yep.
St. Louis, and he had an allergic reaction, so he didn't get to play him, and it was
He
like,
he had an
okay.
allergic reaction to the paint for the
paint.
costume, and
It was the
yes,
aluminum oxide.
yep.
Well,
And so they recast.
they were using dust and they were blowing it on him, and he got it in his lungs. It nearly killed him. But Buddy Ebsen was a better dancer than
oh gosh,
Ed Begley Jr.'s dad. I can't remember the actor's name, but it's Ed Begley Jr.'s dad. It's not Ed Begley, it's something else. He used a stage name.
Yeah, good enough.
Yeah. The Tin Man.
Yep.
Yeah, that's a lot of dancing. And the choreography in that show is incredible.
Mm-hmm.
And they dealt with children and dogs and drunken vaudevillians.
And the rumor of the dead man hanging in the background.
Which is not true.
No, it's an emu.
Yeah.
Jack Haley.
Haley, yes, that's
Jack Haley. Thank you.
Oh my gosh. I'm gonna have to give him my card.
I mean, if you see the screenshot of the quote unquote hanging man in the background, it's pretty creepy if you think about it. But it's just there's a similar one with the ghost in 3 Men and a Baby.
Yeah.
If you see that screenshot, it's fairly creepy, but it's just it's a prop. So
it's like a standee.
Yeah.
But in this case, it wasn't actually a prop. It's an emu.
Yeah.
They put a bunch of birds on the set to make it fill it out, and it's a small emu, or was it a rhea? Emu. A rat type, a big bird.
Big bird. Big bird?
Big bird.
No, not that big bird. A different big bird.
Oh, okay.
A big bird, not the big bird.
Gotcha.
Yes. Who I also think is a rat type. So, but anyway.
What are you gonna say, Megan?
I said I'm surprised. I wouldn't be surprised if it was a creepypasta.
A big bird?
No,
the hanging man in the background. There may be.
I'm sure there probably is.
Yeah.
People make creepypastas of everything.
Oh yeah.
But they're cool.
Some are really, really cool. One of my favorites, look it up sometime, is Booth World.
I don't think I've read that.
Booth World is a creepypasta, and it's wild. It's wild because there's a phone number in it, and you can call that phone number.
Oh, I like interactive ones.
Yeah.
Nice.
I like Laughing Jack is my favorite.
I've heard that one. I'm just completely turning off. Speaking of
Please stop
creepypastas,
derailing the show.
Sorry.
speaking of creepypastas, I think I read that the latest season of American Horror Story that's coming out, American Horror Story Stories, I think is going to focus on the back rooms.
Oh, I love the back rooms.
I do too.
I
do too. So anyway, continue.
I didn't know American Horror Story was still going on.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Every year.
The last show in our lovely guest list is The Greatest Showman.
Oh, so great.
It is a 2017 American biographical musical drama film directed by Michael Gracie and produced by Lawrence Mark, Peter Chernin, and Jenno Topping from a screenplay written by Jenny Bix and Bill Condon and based on a story conceived by Bix. The film stars an ensemble cast led by Hugh Jackman, Zac Efron, Michelle Williams, Rebecca Ferguson, and Zendaya, featuring 9 original songs written by Benj Pasek and Justin Paul, and an original musical orchestrated score composed by John Debney and Joseph Trapanese. The film is heavily fictionalized depiction of the life of P.T. Barnum, a showman and entertainer, and his creation of the Barnum and Bailey Circus. Principal photography began in New York City in November of 2016. Oh, it was filmed at Silver Cup. Cool. I also filmed aboard the RMS Queen Mary 2. It was released in the United States on December 20th, 2017 by 20th Century Fox, 7 months after Ringling Brothers and Barnum and Bailey Circus ceased operation. The film was praised for the performance's musical, visual, and production values, but was criticized for its artistic license. It did win Best Soundtrack for the 61st Annual Grammy Awards. The stage musical adaptation was in development from the Disney Theatrical Group following the parent company's acquisition of the film and the Fox assets in 2019. So they are trying to do a stage version of this.
Cool. I wonder if I have a fact about a About The Greatest Showman.
Okay.
So Hugh Jackman plays P.T. Barnum. Jeremy Jordan was actually supposed to play him.
Hmm.
And I wonder if they do get a stage performance. I wonder if he will be.
Could be.
He's
Could
he's
be.
pretty big.
Hugh Jackman is in Australia and New Zealand, that whole vaudeville thing I was talking about
Mhm.
still exists. It doesn't exist here anymore. It's not around unless you get like a musical revival. So Hugh Jackman is actually like a song and dance guy.
Right.
Right.
Because again, in Australia and New Zealand, it's still a thing. It's still a thing in England, but it's only for kids.
I think he's also in Les Mis.
Yes.
Yes, he is. It's because he's a song and dance guy. He does that's what
He has
that's what he would
fantastic
prefer to
voice.
do, but it doesn't pay as well as
Marvel.
Yeah.
Well, as Marvel.
Yeah.
I'm still mad at Deadpool and Wolverine
Why?
Why?
because they played that tiniest little clip of The Greatest Showman. I wanted more.
Yeah.
It was like 2 hours long. How much more of that did you want?
I just wanted to hear The Greatest Showman.
Just a couple of minutes. Just
Yeah.
yeah.
I mean, it was just like a snippet, and then it went away.
I
It's just
wanted
like,
that to be the song in the scene. I have never been mad about hearing Grease than I was when we saw that movie.
Oh God.
Because you get the snippet of The Greatest Showman, and then it switches to You're the One That I Want.
Yeah.
Which, yes, sure,
Well,
it worked great for that scene.
For those listening that have not gone to the playlist, I want to tout the playlist real quick because the clip that Zig puts from The Greatest Showman is one of the best songs from it, and it's a great song about anybody who has ever been bullied. And it's an amazing piece. That was a great pick, Zig. That was really,
well, thank
really
you.
that
Thank
was
you.
good.
I was just looking for some. I was like, oh yeah, this one's good. This is a great tune. So
Yeah.
I was
I love
hunting
that
and fishing. That took me a few days to put those lists together because I was like, yep, nope, yep, nope, yep, no, not that one, this one. It did take me a while to find the full version so everybody could kind of see what we're talking about. Some of them are not as good of quality because they were filmed live.
Well, and I've got issue with one of the clips you put in there. So yeah, I'll tell you about it when we get there.
Okay. The next one we're going to talk about is Hamilton.
Oh, or to my list.
Yes. Hamilton, while on vacation from performing his hit Broadway show In the Heights, Lin-Manuel Miranda read a copy of the 2004 biography of Alexander Hamilton by Ron Chernow. I can't talk today. I'm so sorry. After finishing the first few chapters, Miranda began to envision the life of Hamilton as a musical and researched whether a stage musical of Hamilton's life had been created. And all they found was a play of Hamilton's story had been done on Broadway in 1917, starring George Arliss as Alexander Hamilton. Miranda began a project titled The Hamilton Mixtape, and on May 12th, 2009, Miranda was invited to perform music from In the Heights at the White House, an evening of poetry, music, and spoken word. Instead, he performed the first song from the Hamilton Mixtapes, an early version of what would later become Alexander Hamilton, Hamilton's opening number. He spent a year after that working on My Shot, another early number from the show. And although Miranda took some dramatic licenses recounting the events of Hamilton's life, both the story and the lyrics in the musical numbers were heavily researched. Many of the songs included in the show contain lines lifted directly from primary sources, i.e. the Federalist Papers and the Reynolds pamphlet. Miranda performed in a workshop production of the show, then titled The Hamilton Mixtape, at the Vassar College and New York Stage and Film Powerhouse Theaters. And on July 27th, 2013, the workshop production was directed by Thomas Kail and musically directed by Alex Lacamoire. And then it went on to Broadway and it broke records.
Yep.
I will say this, after having seen Hamilton and In the Heights, I prefer In the Heights.
I'll disagree with you. I've seen both.
I prefer In the Heights.
In the Heights is good, but no, not a chance.
I like In the Heights better.
I've seen Hamilton twice live at Dallas Fair Park. once when my daughter was in college, I for her, it was either for her birthday or Christmas that year, I bought her a trip home plus tickets to Hamilton for us to go because she introduced me to Hamilton, just the music. When she was in color guard in high school, the small town we were in, we traveled a lot. We had to travel to all over the state to play different football games to different teams. Plus, we had a championship band and we were traveling all over the place. But one of the things my daughter and I did, I let her take control of the music as we traveled, and she went to musicals, all musicals.
Wow.
Hamilton was her introduction to me on this. Hamilton is amazing. One of the things I love about Hamilton is most people, as they go through American history, they learn that Aaron Burr assassinated Alexander Hamilton. It was an assassination. It was a duel, but it was an assassination. But most people never knew the story behind it. Most people never really get to know how important Alexander Hamilton was to early American history. He was a big figure and had and that's what I really love about the show. It introduced people into the history. Yes, there was artistic license, um, but it really stayed true to most of the story. Um, the original Broadway production is, or at least it was, I haven't looked in a while, was on Disney Plus.
Mhm.
And so I got to see that as well, the original with Lin-Manuel Miranda. It's an amazing piece of work. I have the entire Hamilton playlist in my music on Spotify. I listen to it all the time. It's brilliant. It's amazing, and you just have to see it. It's a must see.
I've never seen it.
Oh,
I
if
only
it's
know snippets of songs because of TikTok.
if it's still on Disney Plus, go see it.
Yeah.
Definitely see it. It's incredible. The actor that plays George the King is so good, or King George, excuse me, is so good.
Oh, he's the guy from the Criminal Minds show on
Yes,
Netflix. Yeah,
yes, he's very, very good. The entire cast is
Mindhunters.
absolutely amazing, absolutely amazing. Give yourself, just see it. Go to
Yeah,
Disney Plus and
and
see it.
it's a recording of a live production. It is really,
Yes.
really, really, really good. Um, In the Heights is available on HBO Max. I think you
Hmm.
should also see that. Personally, I like In the Heights better, um, but like just a little bit better. It's Lin-Manuel Miranda is really good at what he does.
Yes.
And he's breathing life back into musical theater, which was dead
Yeah.
10 years ago or 15 years ago. Um, the next musical in Geoffrey's list is Victor Victoria. It is a musical with a book by Blake Edwards, music by Henry Mancini, lyrics by Leslie Bruce, and additional musical material by Frank Wildhorn, and it's based on the 1982 film of the same name. Such was a remake of the German film comedy Victor und Victoria, shot by Reinhold Schultz in 1933 from his own script. Mancini died before he could complete the music, and Wildhorn was brought in to finish the score. The original 1995 Broadway production created mild controversy when actress Julie Andrews, feeling that the rest of the show had been overlooked, declined, and her and the show's only Tony Award. Um, so yeah, they made this movie in the early 80s called Victor Victoria, which was really great. Had a lot of great music in it. It was about a woman who was pretending to be a
So it was a woman who couldn't get work. She
yeah.
couldn't get work performing, and she was destitute. She ends up meeting Robert Preston, who takes her in, and he comes up with this brilliant idea with her singing because she's an amazing singer, and he comes up with this brilliant idea to disguise her as a man dressed as a woman, and it becomes a hit show.
Mhm.
James Garner is in it, which he's brilliant in it. Alex Karras is in it. Leslie Ann Warren is incredible in it. She is so funny throughout the whole movie. And Zig, I think what you have on the playlist is the Broadway show.
Yes, because I thought
Yes.
that's what we were talking about.
Well,
They did an adaptation for Broadway in 1995.
correct. No, I was talking about the Julie Andrews movie because Julie Andrews, my wife hates the fact that I didn't put Sound of Music on here because that's her all-time favorite, and that is Julie Andrews that are brilliant.
A pound of mucus.
I mean, if I didn't have Victor Victoria on here, I still wouldn't have picked Sound of Music. My next one, if I had to pick Julie Andrews, I'd go to SOB.
SOB.
Yes, as
Because you
as
get
my
to
other
see
one.
her boobs.
That's not why, but you do. Just Julie Andrews is a brilliant singer, and Victor Victoria is a great, fun movie. I have seen it dozens of times.
Robert Preston is worth the price of admission.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. Which
He is
shocks
this
me.
campy dude. Oh my God, he is so hysterical.
Which shocks me that nobody chose the Music Man as as
I thought the
somebody
Music
in
Man's in
somebody's
here.
list. Is it?
In
Yeah.
there.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay,
Next,
good.
next,
Okay,
next show.
okay, good.
Music Man's
Somebody
in
has
it.
Music
We
Man.
got the Music Man.
Yes, Music Man is in there.
Because Robert Preston is brilliant in Victor Victoria. So if you have not seen it, do yourself a favor and see
Yeah.
Victor Victoria.
And it's set in the 30s, which makes it even more interesting. Because, these ideas were kind of explored in the 30s, both in Germany and in Paris and in New York and to a lesser extent LA. And then the world went crazy and all of this stuff went back underground.
Hmm.
Only to, come back out in the 50s. Um, which is sad. I just feel like we kind of, it's like, oh, okay, hey, everything's groovy and cool. Oh no, I guess we can't be groovy and cool anymore. We're gonna have to wait 20 years to try this again. But yeah, that movie and the stage play, because the stage musical is a a fairly good representation of the film, but live production with more music, which is nice.
Hmm.
Because the Julie Andrews act is all music based.
Hmm.
Oh my God, it's great. It's amazing. If you've never seen Victor Victoria, go check it out. It's readily available on a lot of
It
things. And again,
was, I think it was nominated for an Oscar.
the film,
The film.
I think so. Yeah. Um, I don't know why Robert Preston didn't get a nod for that because he was
Oh, I know.
God, he was phenomenal.
He is brilliant in it.
Yeah. Just really cool little queen, man. Just really cool little queen. And it if you don't know any cool old queens, go meet some because they're awesome. The next show is Wicked. Wicked is a musical with music and lyrics by Stephen Schwartz and a book by Winnie Holtzman. It is a loose adaptation of the 1995 Gregory Maguire novel, Wicked, The Life and Times of the Wicked Witch of the West, which is in turn based on the L. Frank Baum's 1900 novel, The Wonderful Wizard of Oz, and its 1939 film adaptation. The musical is told from the perspective of two witches, Elphaba and Glinda, before and after Dorothy's arrival in Oz. The story explores the complex friendship between Elphaba, who becomes the Wicked Witch of the West, and Glinda, who becomes Glinda the Good. Their relationship is tested by the contrasting personalities, conflicting viewpoints, shared love interests, reaction to the corrupt rule of the wonderful wizard, and ultimately Elphaba's tragic fall. It was produced by Universal Stage Productions with producers Mark Platt, John B. Platt, and David Stone, director Joe Montello, and choreographer Wayne Cilentro. The original production of Wicked premiered on Broadway at the Gershwin Theater on October 2003 after completing a pre-Broadway tryouts at San Francisco's Curran Theater in May and June of that year. Its original stars included Idina Menzel as Elphaba and Kristen Chenoweth as Glinda. And those two really, really set the world on fire.
Absolutely. And you said her name. I can't pronounce it. Indira.
Idina Menzel.
Thank you. She won a Tony for this.
Yeah. Yeah, she started doing this right out of doing Rent.
Yeah. And I mean,
She went.
she ended up going on to she had a guest starring role in Glee as well. Um, which I was just talking about Glee last night. Did you know? I was talking to somebody about American Horror Story last night, and I told them, I said, you do realize the same people that make American Horror Story made Glee. It's the exact same
Wow.
people.
Oh yeah.
Which is wild. But I've never seen the Broadway production. I wish that Disney would do more of those. I saw the Traveling Roadshow, which I will tell you that the Traveling Roadshow was incredible.
Yeah.
This was at Dallas Fair Park again. I saw it twice. Just the things they do with the stage throughout the show and the various props in the background just really enhance everything. The actors, the stage actors were brilliant. Their singing, everything about it was so good. And it's such a great movie, especially if you like The Wizard of Oz, see Wicked, because it explains some things in The Wizard of Oz that happen, and it changes your viewpoint.
Yeah. Wicked basically is the supposition of maybe Glinda is the bad guy.
Right, right,
Yeah. Yeah. Or maybe there's no such thing as good guys and bad guys. Everybody's just trying to figure things out from their own point of
right,
view.
right.
You know,
Wick,
yeah, Dorothy's not necessarily evil, but she did drop a house on Elphaba's sister.
Well,
She
like,
did
let's
not drop
drive
it.
It wasn't like she said, "Oh,
It
I'm
was
left
from
here."
her point of view.
right.
Well,
So I mean, Wicked will make you feel empathy for the Wicked Witch of the West.
yes, I have never seen Wicked. I didn't know
Oh,
it's coming out in movie form,
Yeah.
but I've read 90% of the book, and I was just like, "Oh my gosh, Glinda is not nice. She is. Oh my gosh!" So I was just like, "Oh, okay."
I'm very
Yeah,
curious. I'm very curious about the major motion picture version of this. I'm going to see
I'd
it.
like to see who they got. They need to get some good singers because Adina Menzel is incredible.
Well, for the Wicked Witch, I believe it's is it Ariana Grande?
No,
she's
she's
playing
Glinda.
She's
Which is
Glenda.
funny because Megan is
She
not.
can't sing as good as Christy. And I'll tell you this, I knew Christy when Christy was young. Christy got a set of pipes on her that come from her soul.
Oh my gosh, she's yeah.
So
That showed. I was like,
Elphaba is being played by Cynthia Erivo.
yes,
I
yes.
pronounce her last name.
So for us, it comes out in a little over a month. When this episode comes out, it will have already been out a month.
Yeah.
Thanksgiving time.
So yeah, Ariana
I'm
Grande, Cynthia.
trepidatious
On
just because
Thanksgiving.
the amount of singing that
Yeah,
has to be done in that musical. And
I am
again,
too. I am too.
like I said before, you've got that nice slow steady pace of those regular musicals which make great singers outstanding and shine. This is not that case. This is a case where you have to be a good singer to hit that and drop. Because those notes go bam 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 bam. It's hard.
Oh, and I didn't even know this. They're doing Wicked as a two-part movie.
Oh, are they?
Yep.
Oh, I didn't know that.
The next one, the part two will come out November of 2025.
Wow.
I'm surprised it took them this long to make a movie out of it.
Yeah, and well, and I'm glad they're doing it as a two-part movie because there's so much that goes into that production. Putting it in a even 2.5 hour movie, you're not going to capture everything.
No.
So
No, not really get this right. And it's because the musical's what, 3.5 hours? Something like that.
if I recall right, yeah.
Yeah. And that's with the intermission, so figure and scene changes with some overtures. 3 hours.
Yeah.
Yeah, no one wants to sit in a theater for or a movie theater for 3 hours. It's not like a live show where you're engaged, moving around.
So Brenda, you're going to have to tell Mike he has to do an episode on Wicked
Yeah.
when it comes out in the movies.
Well, he is taking me. He's already told me.
Oh, okay. Well, good.
Oh, yeah, nice.
There you go.
Yes.
That's going to be a date night for you because I have no interest.
That's okay.
Oh,
You don't want to
it's
see
so
Wicked?
good.
I'm okay with the
okay.
date night.
I was excited when I heard that they were doing a movie because yes, I would love to see Wicked, but I cannot stand Ariana Grande.
I'm with you. I'm with you there.
She's the bad guy?
That was my reservation.
I
That was
just
my
thought I was
reservation on it as well.
don't make me want to see it because they
I'm
picked the right
I'm
person.
I'm not concerned about the acting with her so much as
I am.
he is not that good of a singer.
No.
She is not as good as Christy Chenoweth is.
No.
I don't like her singing.
I'm sorry, Kristen Chenoweth.
Correct. But in Wicked, she doesn't have to be. The Wicked Witch has to be the singer.
Oh no,
I know.
no. Christy
Well,
Glinda has a few songs
She does.
herself that
She
are
does, but it's nothing as powerful as what
it's not flying. Yeah.
Yeah.
Elphaba.
Yeah. Nothing near as powerful as that.
just I don't know all the songs from Wicked. I really just know Popular and Defying Gravity, which were pretty much their two biggest songs.
Yes.
For each of the characters.
Yes. And I think Popular is the clip that Zig got on our
Was it
playlist.
Popular? Yeah.
Yep. Really was surprised you didn't do
Great
Defying
song.
Gravity.
Defying Gravity? Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, that's a showstopper.
Yes.
I believe that goes, and then bam, you go into an intermission because everybody needs a break. That's an emotional thing.
Mhm.
I think Zig has a crush on her.
Who?
Sounds like it. Kristen
Chenoweth? Well,
Yeah.
she did kiss me full on the mouth.
Okay.
She did it to break my my consciousness. Mwah! And it did. I froze like a deer in the headlights. I'm holding okay, so I'm holding half of a haystack. What, are you there? Did I lose you?
No, we're all here.
I'm holding half of a haystack. How it works, the half of the haystack goes down, it's got two handles in it. She gets inside of it, she throws it up, opens and starts singing, right? She paid Baby Jane and Gypsy, right? So she's only in the show for the first quarter of the show, and then she can fuck off for the rest of the show.
I could see that.
Yeah. She stays in costume so she can go do her thing. So yeah. So I grab a piece of hay and I get it and I put it in her hand and I'm starting to slide it on and she kisses me full on the mouth and I stop. Okay, again, the music's going on. It's in the dark. I'm supposed to drop this and run. Yeah,
Good
the lights
God,
came
the
up.
veins in his neck are popping out.
I know, I'm telling you. I didn't even know this story, and I'm just telling you.
3,000 people saw me drop this thing, look at a deer like a headlights, and take off running.
Wow. So what's your claim
Most
to
embarrassed I've ever been in my life. Thank you, Christy. She was laughing her ass off at me. Funny thing, and I'd actually forgotten all about it until several years later, and my friend Ethan's like, hey, remember when? And it was like, oh my God, I had blocked that out for like 20 years. Turns out someone had paid her to do it. So
wow.
Oh, and she's tiny too. When I mean she is tiny because
Oh yeah.
I was like 15, 16. So I was actually smaller than I am now. And as you well know, I'm a hobbit. Yeah, you know, she was like a half a head shorter than me. And she was full grown. Wow. She was like 19 or 20 at the time. And she hasn't grown since. She's tiny.
Look at her in The Good Place standing next to Ted Danson.
Oh, yeah. She's little bitty.
Yes.
She's really, really cool and really funny. And an incredible singer. Because again, you know, with singers, 1920, your voice isn't even there yet, you know? And she was already belting out those young players from Gypsy. I have now derailed the show. I am so sorry. I got into everybody
actually
else,
still on
man.
subject.
Just did it.
That's all right. This is going to end up being another one of our 2-hour shows.
Yeah, that's all right. That's all The next, is this the last musical on your list?
Yes.
The last music. No, the
No.
next one is Little Shop of Horrors.
Yes, you're right.
Yes, Little Shop of Horrors is a horror comedy rock musical with music by Alan Menken and lyrics and book by Howard Ashman. The story follows a hapless florist shop worker who raises a plant that feeds on human blood and flesh. The musical is loosely based on the low-budget 1960 black comedy film, The Little Shop of Horrors. But he kind of re-envisioned it, or Alan Menken re-envisioned it as an early 1960s rock and roll doo-wop and early Motown sound. The musical premiered off Broadway in 1982 before moving to the Orpheum Theater off Broadway, where it had a 5-year run. It later received numerous productions in the U.S. and abroad, and subsequently Broadway production, in part because of its small cast. And it became popular with school and other amateur theater groups. The musical was also made into a 1986 film of the same name, directed by Frank Oz. That would be The Little Shop of Horrors.
I have a special place in my heart for this one. My daughter did this her junior year.
That sounds
junior,
right.
I think it was her
I
junior
know, because he
year.
was like, "Hey, how do we do this?" And we were drawing up. I'm like,
Yeah.
"Do it like this," and you got like this, and then you just take a big piece of fabric and run it over here, and poke
Well,
their heads through.
Well, and
and
what he's talking about, because she had designed Audrey. She was playing Audrey, and she
do
had to
not give
design it.
that to a child.
Now
That is
that's
very
what I
difficult.
know. That's what her teacher did.
Yeah, that's
So
advanced puppetry.
so I called Zig over. I said, I need some help because I can't help here. But she got to play Audrey from the plant in the pot all the way up to the big monster. This is Little Shop of Horrors is a perfect example of a musical where the music advances the story. Without the music in this, you don't have a story.
Right.
Well, you got a Roger
Well,
Corman
you-
film
I
that
mean,
took
you
3
do.
days to make,
Yeah.
which is
Um,
mildly humorous.
but the musical pieces are very important. It's very similar. Wicked is this way too, actually. But the musical numbers advance the story along in what's going on throughout it. This one is such fun to see it played live. The movie is a lot of fun. It's great. I've always loved Little Shop of Horrors. It's great.
I don't know if I've ever seen a stage performance of it. I would love to, though.
It's
I'm sure.
fun. It's fun.
I'm sure it would be fun.
Yeah.
I guarantee you,
I
most stage productions, even high school productions, spent more money than the original Roger Corman film did.
I adore Little Shop of Horrors.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
That's going to be on my list to watch in the next 2 weeks.
Awesome.
Little Shop of Horrors. Yeah.
See if you can
That's a good one.
see if you can find a stage play of it somewhere.
Yeah.
There may be a one online.
Yeah, I've seen, again, it's one of those things you see a lot of high school and college productions because it's such a fun show to do.
Hmm.
It's a small cast. If you can get around the plant, everything else is pretty easy.
Yeah.
I think so Dad, this is one of the musicals that is on my dad's list of ones that he actually likes. He loves Little Shop of Horrors too, and we love Audrey too. So we actually contemplated trying to make Audrey, and so Dad was looking up videos of people making, and I think we found somebody making it for a stage performance, and it's amazing.
Hmm. Yeah, I just if my my one regret of seeing my daughter perform it live is that you can't take pictures during the performance, and I don't have any pictures of her up on the stage doing Audrey, and I just wish I could have.
That's when you sneak them anyway.
I know, but I was good.
Why don't you could have taken pictures, while they were putting it together.
We weren't allowed. We weren't allowed in the set. It was supposed to be students only. This was a big project for the students, and they got no parental help on this one.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
Okay. Yeah, other than ideas. Hey, do it like this. I wonder if that worked. So I don't remember. Did the basically the TV cart thing that we figured out on the wheels? Did that work?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, it was perfect.
Excellent. The final film in Geoffrey's list is American Psycho. It is a musical with music and lyrics by Duncan Sheik and a book by Robert Aguirre Sacasa. It is based on the controversial 1991 novel American Psycho by Bret Easton Ellis, which also inspired a 2000 film with the same name that starred Christian Bale. Set in Manhattan during the Wall Street boom in the late 80s, American Psycho is about the daily life of Patrick Bateman, a young and wealthy investment banker who is also secretly a serial killer. The musical received its world premiere in the London Alameda Theatre in 2013, directed by Rupert Gould and starring Doctor Who actor Matt Smith. A Broadway production began previewing performances on the 24th of March 2016 at the Gerald Schoenfeld Theater, directed by Gould and starring Benjamin Walker as Patrick Bateman. The musical is based on the 1991 novel American Psycho by Bret Easton Ellis. In 2008, producers David Johnson, Jesse Singer, Nate Bullen, and Aaron Ray purchased the stage rights and were developing a musical adaptation of the novel to appear on Broadway. It kind of went through a couple of Kickstarters and things of that nature, but eventually they got it up and running. I had not seen much of this other than what we put in the playlist. I didn't even know this was a thing until you mentioned it. Yeah.
Yeah. So this is another one, and I apologize. I have to keep going off camera. I have to put drops in my eyes. I'm not crying.
All right, make some blue.
Yeah, not crying. This was another one that was introduced to me by my daughter. She had in one of our trips. I think this one was actually coming back up to Dallas Fort Worth from Harlingen. We listened to American Psycho the musical. The Matt Smith version. And this is where I have the one problem with the playlist. I know you put in the Broadway production that they did on the what's his name show? The guy from the Daily Show that has the talk show. Not Jon Stewart. With the glasses.
The English guy.
No. Why can I not remember his name right now? He was the one, he was always on the Daily Show pretending to be the conservative, but he's really not.
Oh, Stephen Colbert.
Stephen Colbert, the Colbert Show. So you did the clip from the Stephen Colbert Show,
yes,
which is the Broadway cast, or is not the Broadway cast. It's the traveling show,
yes,
because the Broadway cast is Matt Smith from Doctor Who.
Oh, I thought Matt Smith from Doctor Who was the West End cast.
Unless I'm wrong, I thought the Matt Smith one was the Broadway one.
No, Broadway is somebody else. Matt Smith is West End.
Okay.
Yeah, because they started in the West End. They didn't go to the Broadway first. I
prefer the Matt Smith one.
Okay.
I prefer his, and there are clips online of Matt Smith doing it. And it's just it's amazing that they took such a creepy film and book and turned it into a musical that is brilliant. Brilliantly done. Yes, it is brilliant. The clips you can see online of Matt Smith are not good because they were taken from, looks like somebody's
that may have been why I didn't use them at the time.
Right. And you had talked about the various clips, but you can see some stuff of Matt Smith online taken from somebody's phone camera, and it's brilliant. He plays Patrick Bateman. He plays the Psycho, and it's amazing. It's amazing, absolutely amazing. Matt Smith is so versatile. It's brilliant.
Yeah. So he can sing?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
He's an actor. Sing? That whole thing I was talking about, singing, dancing, everything, it's you got to do it all.
Yeah.
I would say I have problems with your playlist too, but we'll get to that one.
Okay.
Because it's all my stuff that I have problems with.
Yeah, okay. Well, okay. So
Zig may have to do some edits after the show.
I'm doing one right now. So that has been added.
Awesome. But I've never seen American Psycho live. I've watched stuff online in it, and plus, like I said, I've heard the entire soundtrack over and over, and it's really, really good. They do a great job of telling that in a Broadway musical. It's brilliant. It's brilliant. It's won several awards too.
Wow.
Yep.
I definitely want to see it.
Yeah.
I mean, Psycho's a horror classic.
Well,
So,
American Psycho, different,
yeah.
a little
Yeah.
different, but yeah, him playing Patrick Bateman is wild,
The
wild.
story of Patrick Bateman.
Hmm. Yes. Yep. All right, Zig. I think that takes us to the end of that list.
That would be correct, sir.
Part one. We'll get part two again. You'll get part two in episode 178. 177 is kind of a special episode. We'll detail that when we get there next week. But so you'll have to wait for part two for episode 178. So thank you for that. Thank you for the lists. Brenda, great list. Mine, obviously, great list. Um, I love musicals. They're good time. The ones that have been listed so far, go check them out. Check them out. Check out the stuff on our playlist. See the music because they're all they're all very good and definitely worth at least an initial watch. So
Now,
with
one other thing.
oh
I'm
yeah,
sorry.
no.
So I also am. I have an old soul. I really do. So I really love like the 60s beachy shows or the movies, like Gidget and stuff. And every list that I'm like, they keep popping those in there. And I'm like, yeah, but I don't consider those musicals, just like Elvis Presley movies. I love Elvis Presley movies. Yes, I'm that.
Yeah, I mean,
But I don't put
because
those
he
on my
jumps out
list
and goes,
either.
"I want to have a clam bake." Clam
Right.
bake doesn't make it a musical.
Right.
Right.
No,
And I'm like, those
all
are
of
not
Elvis
musicals.
Presley's movies are he sings in them because he couldn't act. They just made him sing
Now,
through all of
wait
his
a minute.
lines.
I love Elvis Presley.
She,
Stop it.
I was gonna say she'll fight you on
Rebel
that.
fight. But
They
but
made
I didn't
they
put
made him
any of
sing
those on
through
my
his
list. I'm
lines.
like, those are not in my book musicals. So.
See, That's about how I feel
Going
about
to the highway
Wizard of Oz and yeah, my favorite. My brain's just blanking.
That's okay.
Willy Wonka.
Oh,
Like I don't know if I technically count them as musicals.
Willy Wonka is a musical. Is definitely a musical.
Okay.
Yeah, there's a production of it.
Yep.
I think it's actually called Charlie and the Chocolate Factory.
yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
The book that everything's based off is Charlie.
Yeah. But I think the musical is called Charlie and the Chocolate Factory.
Correct.
It's a children's
You
musical,
are
just
correct.
like Wizard of Oz is.
Mm-hmm. You are correct. Definitely
There's
a
different
musical.
versions then, because in 8th grade, I think. Yeah, 8th grade. We did Wonka Jr. So there's different versions.
That's cool. Awesome Blossom. All right. Well, with that, we're going to step over to the murdery side of the house.
Murder.
This is the breaking point for those of you who have been around for a little while now. If you need to take a break, this is a good time to do it before we step in there. For today, I think Zig needs to take a break right now. All right. So Zig gave everybody time to take a break. Everybody else could take a break. So for today, I got my information off Oxygen, Medium, Time, and Google Maps. Very interesting enough. This is the story of the murder of Lauren Landavazo, or Landavazo. There we go.
Lauren Landavazo.
Yes, we'll say it that way. Why I thought this story was very interesting to me personally, this story not only takes place where I lived during late elementary and junior high school, but the victim also went to my junior high school.
Oh.
There's actually a memorial out there, and we'll talk about that memorial in the story. But just after 3 p.m. on Friday, September 2nd, 2016, Lauren and her friend Michaela Smith, who were both 13 years old, were taking their usual route home from school. As they were passing through an alleyway in their hometown of Wichita Falls, Texas, a vehicle they had never seen before suddenly came to a short stop in front of them. So this is where I went to Google Maps. you don't see alleyways anymore in neighborhoods. They just don't
They have
build
them in
it.
Wichita Falls.
They did. Well, they did. So that's where I had to go to Google Maps. Our neighborhood was full of them and provided a lot of great shortcuts that you could go through. So when I was going to McNeil Junior High, there were only three neighborhoods that fed McNeil. And I've got the link to Google Maps so you can pull this up and look for yourself. There were only three neighborhoods that fed into McNeil. There was one to the north, one to the northeast, and one to the east. I lived in the northeast neighborhood. Now, per Google Maps, there's one to the southwest, west, and south. So it's really kind of surrounded, but those neighborhoods didn't exist in the 80s. I looked on the maps. Those three don't have alleyways, as most newer neighborhoods in Texas don't. The one to the north was newer and didn't have alleyways either. So the girls were either walking to the northeast neighborhood or the east one, which again was mine. Not that it matters to the story, but as I just kind of found it fascinating as I was going through here, there was a 50% chance at this point that this story happened in my old neighborhood.
Hmm.
So the truck pulled over and a young man got out. He eyed them both up and down. The girls, thinking he was pulling some sort of prank, had ignored him and kept walking away. And within seconds, one of the middle schoolers would be lying mortally wounded on the pavement. The other would be fighting for her life. Investigators would later learn that after staring Lauren and Michaela down, the driver had retrieved a rifle from his SUV and started shooting. In total, 16 shots were fired, 15 of which stuck Lauren. Michaela, who had been hit in the chest by the first round, had somehow found the strength to run to safety. And after emptying his weapon, the shooter fled the scene because dozens of witnesses, most of whom were also students on their way home from McNeil, looked on in horror. Ambulances rushed to the scene and word of the shooting spread quickly. There was an acquaintance of Bianca Landavazo who phoned to tell her that students had been shot nearby, and she made a beeline to the site. When she arrived, she observed paramedics working furiously over the broken form that was her daughter. Eyewitnesses who were interviewed after the fact stated they would be forever haunted by the sound of the distraught woman's screams. Lauren's father, Vern, who had left work as soon as he learned of the shooting, arrived a short time later. He was unable to process what he was seeing, and he was convinced that his child would be all right. Bianca, though, who had seen the extent of the damage, knew different. At the hospital, the family were informed that their daughter, who had just started the eighth grade, had succumbed to her injuries. The medical examiner would determine that she had sustained 15 bullet wounds from a .22 caliber rifle. Two of the shots had been to the head, either of which would have been fatal. And her cause of death was, of course, ruled homicide. Michaela was admitted to the hospital in serious condition. When she was interviewed by detectives, she described the perpetrator as a young white male with chestnut-colored hair that hung loosely around his face. And though she had seen him only briefly, she recalled he had a prominent nose and a scattering of acne across his cheeks. In what seemed like no time at all, witnesses came forward to say that the suspect had been driving a gold SUV that had sped away from the scene before the smoke cleared. Their recollections, coupled with Michaela's remarkably accurate description of the shooter, helped police create a composite sketch, which was quickly released to the public via local news outlets. Less than 48 hours after the incident, authorities received a tip from a concerned citizen that she had seen her neighbor, 20-year-old Cody Lott, carrying what looked like a rifle case into his apartment on the day of the murder. Since he only lived a stone's throw from the alley where the incident had taken place, detectives decided Mr. Lott needed some looking into. Coincidentally, just as this information was coming to light, a couple notified authorities that they had seen a young man in a gold SUV parked near a makeshift memorial that had been erected at the site of the shooting. Since the sighting had occurred only moments earlier, police sped to the scene in the hopes of nabbing their suspect. And as they neared the area, patrolmen spotted a gold SUV heading the opposite direction. They signaled the driver to pull over, and officers requested permission to search the vehicle. Um, he said that he had recently cleaned the interior from top to bottom. He was a very confident young man sitting behind the wheel, and he had identified himself as Cody Lott, and so he gave the police the go-ahead to search it. Nothing pertinent to the investigation was found, but a pair of brass knuckles were uncovered, and since they were illegal in Texas at the time, Lott was taken to the station and booked for possession of a dangerous weapon, which carried a hefty fine and possible jail time. Once they had him in custody, authorities ushered him into an interrogation room where they questioned him as to his knowledge of the double shooting. And at first, he lied through his teeth, claiming total ignorance on the subject. But after about an hour or so, he had become so comfortable in the company of detectives, he began to weave a whole different story that made the detectives sit up and take notice. They said he was animated and bursting with nervous energy, and he spoke of having become infatuated with Lauren after seeing her pass by the apartment he shared with his mother and stepfather. Back to Google Maps I went. There was a single apartment complex there when I lived there, and it was to the east, according to the map. And according to the map, it's still there. There's a newer one to the north, but as I said before, those neighborhoods don't have alleyways. So we now have a 100% chance that not only did this happen in my old neighborhood, I more than likely used the alley as a shortcut going home.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Well, it's weird because Wichita Falls is one of the few places around here that, well, again, they don't build them now, but still have those alleyways because
Oh yeah.
most of like Fort Worth got rid of them. We had them
Well,
too, like
we
around Hewlin.
we had one right behind my house. We had an alleyway, and that's where the garbage trucks came down. You put
Yep.
your trash cans out there, the garbage trucks came
Garbage
through
truck
there
come
and got
down.
them.
Yeah. Wichita Falls
Um,
still has them.
but I was just getting goosebumps looking at the map. I'm like, my God, I have walked the path she did. I walked through that apartment complex to get to the streets and alleyways that led to my home. So it was just kind of, it was eerie to me having been there, for that. Um, so Lot was taken by her physical appearance, specifically her icy blue green eyes, and he would wait by the window every day when school let out to look at her from afar. And over time, he began to believe that the pretty brunette belonged to him in every sense of the word.
Whoa. She's in the eighth grade.
And he was 20 years old. Yep. So this unrequited love turned to hate one afternoon when he saw Lauren walking hand in hand with a boy her own age. This made him angry. He viewed the act as betrayal, and he decided right there and then that he was going to make the 13-year-old, whom he'd never spoken to, sorry that she ever crossed his path. He had been in relationships in the past, but none lasted very long. He would later confess to a court-appointed psychiatrist that he harbored hate in his heart for those of the female persuasion. He was emotionally immature and unrealistically demanding, and Lot had driven his girlfriends away one by one. So he was lonely. He was envious of those who around him who were in healthy relationships, and he had retreated into an imaginary world where Lauren, who seemed perfect in every way, he was devoted, or she was devoted to him and only him. This is what was in his mind.
And he'd
Seeing,
never spoken to her.
never spoken to her. This
Okay.
was all in his head that she was his.
Okay.
But when he saw her with someone else, that ruined the fantasy, ruined everything, and he decided for that she had to pay. So, hell bent on revenge, he had taken one of his stepfather's rifles from the gun cabinet on the day of the shooting in preparation for what was to come. When Lauren and Michaela came into view, he grabbed the weapon and jumped into his SUV, pulled up in front of them, effectively blocking their path, and opened fire. The first bullet hit Michaela, which knocked her to the ground, and every other round he said he saved for Lauren, who had been the target all along. He even said he lamented the fact that he had run out of ammunition, which was the only reason Michaela, who had seen his face and could identify him, had lived. In the next breath, tossing the jealous rage excuse out the window, Lot patted himself on the back as the hero who had acted selflessly to save Lauren from the dangers she would have faced later in life. The way he saw it, by killing her at a young age, he had preemptively rescued her from the clutches of rapists and other predators, and simply put, by taking her life, he had spared her from the evils that lay ahead.
Huh.
So investigators then guided him back into reality. And Lot went on to say that he had fled from the scene when he noticed that a crowd was starting to gather. In a panic, he ditched the murder weapon in a field. And later that evening, when he was sure the coast was clear, he had retrieved it and put it back where he found it. Since he had no known ties to the victims, he assumed he was free and clear, and he had placed little importance on the fact that he had opened fire on the helpless schoolgirls in broad daylight in the presence of dozens of onlookers. Detectives were struggling to understand his motives, and they asked him to elaborate on why he killed someone that who didn't even know he existed. They said he was still hyped up and excited by the attention he was receiving, and he explained that he wanted a girlfriend and thought that she was going to be the one. When he discovered she already had a boyfriend, he decided that if he couldn't have her, no one else would. And they said that he seemed enthralled by the sound of his own voice, so he really kind of just kept talking. And he added that he had an accomplice who had encouraged him every step of the way. According to him, the like-minded fiend who had been pulling the strings on the days leading up to the shooting was none other than the devil himself.
Oh, brother.
Lot went on to say that he had consulted with the devil before moving forward with his murderous plan. When the king of the netherworld agreed that Lauren was only getting what she deserved, any doubts that he may have had following through with the shooting disappeared, and thanks to his ever supportive ally carrying out the murder, which he referred to as an assassination, had been a breeze. Yep.
I'd like to pause and
Sure.
take a point here.
Go for it.
King of the Netherworld doesn't have anything better to do than to convince a guy to kill an innocent 13-year-old girl. I mean, he's got payroll to meet. He's got
Sure, Zoom meetings, you know.
Yeah.
He's got Zoom meetings with his demons, and
that's right.
Yeah. No.
Good God. This moron. Okay. I'm
well,
sorry.
yeah, well, detectives. I mean, detectives had had enough at this point as well.
Yeah.
They said, okay, that's it. They charged him with one count of first-degree murder, one count of aggravated assault with a deadly weapon. Despite his confession, he pleaded not guilty on both counts. He was given a $4 million bail pending trial. They got warrants and searched his electronic devices, and it revealed that his cell phone had a number of images of underage girls performing sexually explicit acts. And as a result, possession of child pornography was added to his list of punishable offenses. Let's just stack one sentence on top of another.
Just throw him under the jail.
Investigators spoke to one of Lot's former girlfriends. She remembered him as a terror who had once tried to strangle her with a seatbelt in a fit of temper. After she ended the relationship, she claimed that Lot had kidnapped and tortured her and her young son. And knowing full well what he was capable of, she hadn't reported the incident to police for fear of retaliation. And it was only when she had learned he'd been arrested, she felt it was safe coming forward.
Stack a couple more charges on there.
Mm-hmm. Well, Lot's narcissism then kicked into overdrive, and he kept close tabs on the news coverage of the case. When he learned the media were characterizing the shooting as a random act of violence, he was pissed. The shooting had taken weeks of thought and planning, and he wanted everyone to know it. And in a mind-boggling lack of self-awareness, he continued to maintain his innocence, even though he demanded recognition for the tireless efforts that had gone into killing Lauren.
Narcissists have no sense of self.
No.
Man.
Do
not have any sense of self.
No. Acquaintances described Lot as a spoiled sort who had been coddled since the day he was born. He believed that the world and everyone in it should bend to his will. He was characterized as a short-tempered tyrant who had given much and given little in return. He was a recreational drug user and social misfit and was widely regarded as an oddball. And though he managed to function normally when it suited his purposes, he had straddled the line between acceptable behavior and the off-the-rails lunacy for as long as anyone can remember.
Hey, as an oddball, he ain't with us.
No, he's not in that club. No.
No.
His trial was originally scheduled for March of 2018, but was postponed when the defense successfully argued that he was of unsound mind and therefore incapable of understanding the proceedings. 6 months later, after undergoing intensive treatment at a psychiatric facility, he was deemed competent to stand trial. District Attorney Maureen Shelton laid out the case before the jury, and Chief Prosecutor Laron Poole contended that Lot was a calculating killer who had stalked his teenage victim for nearly a year before taking her life. They stressed that Michaela would have died on the pavement that day as well had the defendant not run out of ammunition. And Michaela herself testified that she felt her own blood running down her chest and down her stomach, but she was more concerned about her friend. She recalled repeatedly saying to herself, "Please let her live," as first witnesses and first responders rushed to the scene. She said she screamed Lauren's name over and over, but of course she never responded.
Hey, big props to Michaela for getting up, running, and finding help for
Big
both
time.
of them.
Big time.
Yeah, because I mean, had he not have shot her so many times, she probably could have
Maybe.
saved that girl. She
Maybe.
definitely saved herself.
Yeah.
Props to Michaela.
On the other side of the courtroom, Lott's defense team held that their client had suffered from various mental illnesses that had rendered him unable to distinguish right from wrong. They argued that even if he was the shooter, he had acted on impulses beyond his control. They said he wasn't a calculating killer, but rather a victim of the intrusive thoughts that threatened to consume him. And after hearing both perspectives on September 19th, 2018, the jury deliberated for 40 minutes, 4-0, before finding Cody Lott guilty as charged. At the conclusion of the penalty phase, he was sentenced to life in prison plus 20 years.
So it took him 5 minutes to get in,
probably
10 minutes to order lunch, and then they had to go down all the charges.
I think so.
Guilty. Okay.
Yeah, I think so. With the current policies in the state of Texas, he will be eligible for parole in 2048. And barring anything unforeseen, he will be 52 years old when he makes his first bid for freedom. Before, during, and after the trial, he was really the picture of arrogance. He never once did he express an ounce of regret for murdering Lauren in cold blood and permanently scarring Michaela, both physically and emotionally. Michaela, who had come face to face with a killer and miraculously survived, carries a reminder of that dreadful day with her everywhere she goes. Since removing the bullet would have likely done more harm than good, the projectile remains in her chest, so she keeps that to this day.
Oh, wow.
Doctors hope eventually it will shift over time to an area where it can be safely extracted, but there are no guarantees.
No, it could shift in the wrong place.
Yep.
At that point, they stack another murder charge on him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we actually have a friend that was shot on a street in Fort Worth, Texas, and he was shot in the spine and ended up in a wheelchair the rest of his life, paralyzed from the chest down. He ended up dying later as complications from it. So his assault now became a murder charge.
20 years later.
Yeah, 20 years later. Yep. So as a way of paying tribute to Lauren and honoring Michaela's ongoing struggles, there's a statue of a regal black horse that was erected on the grounds of McNeil Middle School. And it's funny, when I was looking at the map, there's a little pinpoint of the horse, and you can see it from the map.
Nice.
In addition to displaying positive messages such as love and live, the monument featured purple and blue paw prints, which was the girl's favorite colors. Those who loved Lauren and lost her in the most inconceivable of ways, the statue was a perfect memorial to the girl who had always shown compassion to animals and humans alike. And by the way, the reason it's a black horse, the McNeil is the McNeil Mustangs. She was kind to everyone she met. She had a reputation in school for being the self-appointed welcome wagon. In an effort to make them feel at home, she would go out of her way to befriend new students. And it wasn't lost on those close to her that she would have treated Lott with a level of respect he didn't deserve had she only been given the chance.
Mm-hmm.
While she never would have had any interest in pursuing a relationship with an adult male, she would have readily offered her friendship. Sadly, it's apparent from his delusional ramblings that nothing she could have said or done would have changed what he had in store for her. Now, proving that the lowest common denominator in life seldom rests, on October 1st, 2020, vandals made off with the statue after forcibly removing it from its foundation. Following an extensive search, the forever horse was found smashed to pieces in a barn in neighboring Clay County. Thanks to a tip line set up by police, two locals, 19-year-old Zachary Kaiser and his buddy Tyler Darlin, were arrested 2 months later and charged with theft and destruction of property. Their accomplices, Dakota James and Braden Seward, were taken into custody a short time later. Kaiser was ultimately found guilty and ordered to pay $400 in restitution. I don't think that's enough. But as punishment,
statue costs more than $400.
No, I know, I agree. As punishment for his crimes, he would also spend the next 2 years behind bars.
Ooh.
In a surprising move, the judge suspended his sentence at the request of Lauren's parents, who felt he stood a better chance of finding redemption outside the prison walls. And this was a charitable gesture, but their optimism was lost on Kaiser, who was in trouble with the law a mere 4 months after his release. Having proven that he couldn't be trusted to abide by the rules of society, the court decided that he should serve out the remainder of his sentence in jail. Family and friends.
Huntsville ain't got no air conditioning. Think about that.
I don't know that he went to Huntsville for those crimes. He might have served local.
That's true.
I don't think he went to the big house. But friends and neighbors got together, and the victims' families were able to commission a replacement statue. And on May 27th, 2021, a second memorial was put in place in front of the school. And hopefully this one will keep with its name forever and actually stay there forever. Lauren was laid to rest a little over a week after her murder. Hundreds of people donated more than $16,000 to an online fundraising page to help set up for her funeral. And her family wrote in her obituary, quote, "Lauren touched the lives of so many people who could not help but feel the love and joy for life that she had when they were around her. Her compassion and love for other people made her the most beautiful person inside and out. It was hard to stay sad around Lauren. She simply wouldn't allow it. She was the lovely, lively heart and soul of our family." And lastly, on June 11th, 2019, Texas passed Lauren's Law, which makes the deliberate slaying of a child under the age of 15 a capital offense. So murder time, killing time.
Yep.
At the time of her murder, she was 10, making her killer ineligible for the death penalty. But her parents worked tirelessly to get the law on the books and hope that the stricter guidelines will deter individuals like Lot from preying upon, those that are vulnerable. The law, unfortunately, is not retroactive and therefore has no bearing on their daughter's case. But the family do take comfort in knowing that their efforts may help the families of future victims find the closure they deserve. And that is the story of the murder of Lauren Landavazo.
Well, thank you for that, sir.
Yeah, like I said, this one took me when I was looking around for various things. I've got sites that feed me articles and things, and I read through them, and I was like, Wichita Falls, McNeil Middle School. Yep, I'm reading this one. I need to see it. It's just kind of wild because, like I said, I walked those alleyways. There used to be a field just south of that apartment complex where you could pick those blackberries. They had blackberries
Nice.
and blackberries, stuff like that. And of course, we're kids and we don't think anything about it. And we just grab these random berries off trees on the way home.
Just eat them. Yeah.
Who knows what could be on them? So
like a bunch of chimps in the wild, just welcome to Texas. We've all done it.
We did it in Illinois too.
Yeah.
Not just
these Mustang grapes are spicy.
A bunch of chimps in the wild.
Chimps in the wild.
You're an idiot.
Yeah, I don't think we've went as far as like picking bugs off of each other.
No. I don't know. I mean, my yesterday on the golf course, we had these big old honking mosquitoes, and I saw one that landed on my hand, and I just tried to shoo it away, and that sucker was just latched on there. So I took my finger and I, flicked it away, and the thing exploded in blood. And then probably it couldn't have been 5-10 minutes later. Suddenly Chelsea walked up to me and went, "Shh." And I went, "What?" She goes, "You had a mosquito."
Sure.
Oh, the fun times. So that'll take us to the end of another recording week. I appreciate both Meagan and Brenda for joining us. It's been a lot of fun going through these musicals. I can't wait to go on to our next episode. Again, that'll be 178. So don't listen to 177 and go, "Oh, what the hell's wrong here? Where's my musical?"
Where's your busy episode? No, we didn't.
You'll have to wait a week past that. But thank you for that. I've loved meeting them through Mike and Steven, getting to know it. It's amazing, the podcast world, how you get to meet various people. And they're just great. I appreciate y'all joining. I can't wait for the next episode.
Thank you.
Um,
And we did meet in person.
we did when they came down to DFW, and I went up to DFW and met in the middle.
Not me again.
You were in Canada.
I was in Canada.
You were in Canada.
Yes, you were in Canada at the time.
Yep.
So awesome. So as always, you can find more about us on nerderymurdery.com. That's our website, our hub, where everything about our show. You'll find links to what we talked about, pictures of what we talked about. I will be putting the Google Maps link. I will have a picture of the Forever Horse. We'll have different things from the musical, but you can also find the link to our YouTube page, which Zig so often updates. And for this, you can see some of the musicals.
Yes, please go and check that out. You can see snippets as well as full musicals, so you can see what all we're talking about. And I did include the Matt Smith, or at least a snippet from that as well while
Good
we were
stuff.
talking.
Yeah. Awesome. Good. It's not a great copy, the one that's on YouTube, but great. That's really cool.
I found one that was it's only a little bit, but it's just snippets, but
Okay.
it's clear.
Awesome. On our website, you can also find the link to our merchandise page, which if you wish to show off your Nerdery Murdery fandom, please do consider purchasing something from there. That, along with our Patreon, which you'll find the link to. Our patrons do help with the costs that are associated with the show. It does cost to keep us on the air, do our uploads, store our episodes, everything like that. There's a lot that goes into it. It's a lot of work and everything. So please do consider purchasing some merchandise or becoming a patron. We appreciate each and every one of you.
Please and thank you.
Please and thank you. And last but not least, don't forget to leave a 5-star review wherever you can. It really helps us, helps other find our content that may be looking for the information we talk about. And as this was our Christmas episode, the music at the end will be our special Christmas AI generated song. So
Hey, very nice.
Stay tuned and listen to that. We hope y'all have been enjoying this. Do leave us comments and let us know which songs you like. We want to know which ones are good, because I've enjoyed making those. So anyway, with that, I'll let our guests sign off.
Bye.
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 I don't know what to do.
I have been Zig with your nerdery.
And I'm Geoffrey with the Murdering.
Cue the music.
Merry Christmas.